Good morning, Taconic, and welcome to another exciting episode of the Thunder Report.
We have a fantastic show coming up, so let's get right into it. Today is Friday, March 14th. We have many great things to show you today.
First, we have this week's top news.
After that, we have Max with this week's headlines from the Berkshire Eagle.
Then we'll have a PSA with Kyra about the upcoming Theater Crafts Fair this Saturday.
Then we'll have another episode of Forward to the Past featuring Mrs. Panetti.
Next, we have another PSA with Kyra about fish in the Berkshire Humane Society.
After that, we have a segment with Aiden about obscure laws, followed by Avery with the weather.
Lastly, we'll have the word of the day. But first, please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
For our top headlines today, we would like to congratulate the Taconic boys basketball team and the PHS girls basketball team for their big victories not too long ago. The boys went on to win 63-56 over Latin Academy, which secured their spot in the MIAA finals. On the other hand, the PHS girls basketball team earned a 77-31 victory over Old Rochester, which punched their ticket to the MIAA Final Four. Unfortunately, the Taconic boys would then go on to lose 65-46 against Norwell High School on March 11th in the semifinals. Further, the PHS girls will go on to lose their state semifinal round earlier this week. We still congratulate them for their great achievement this year.
In addition to that, spring sports registration is now open. If you would like to sign up for a spring sport, the QR code is on screen now. The spring sports include boys and girls track and field, boys and girls tennis, baseball, softball, boys lacrosse, girls lacrosse, and unified track and field. Spring sports will be starting in late March.
We would like to congratulate our high-ranking finishers here at Taconic for Skills USA. We have Henry Benson, Chris Escalon, and Olivia Lucky in second place for automated manufacturing, and they are going to the States. Next is Cicely Roy in third place for automotive refinishing technology. Then we have Precious Cupofolo, Sahara Hebrio Oriana, Giselle Sherrod, and Victor Torres in third place for the Health Knowledge Bowl. Last but not least, we have Brendan Bales and Avery Stinson in second place for TV and video production, and they are going to States. Congratulations to all of these hardworking students.
As you may remember, the PBIS team is running a kindness booster here at Taconic. We have some pictures on screen now of showing some kind things students have done for the booster. The goal of the booster is to recognize good deeds and acts of kindness. Students were asked to fill out the March Positive Recognition Google form to do this, and then the answers were posted on the wall.
In partnership with the Berkshire Eagle, I had a chance to cover some of the big headlines from the past week. Let's check it out. Hello everyone, my name is Max and welcome to Headlines with the Berkshire Eagle. Let's check out some of the big stories in the news this week. A new report shows that the Adams Ambulance Service Garage was sold for $350,000 on January 31st. This comes after Adams Ambulance in 2023 informed the state that it would cease operations. The garage was sold to 674 Housatonic Nominee Trust. Fred Ballawander, the president of Adams Ambulance, said, quote, "The most difficult thing to do was walk away and close the doors. It hurt." Close quote. Pittsfield is rolling out a two-phase plan to deal with potholes in the coming weeks. Phase 1, which has already begun, includes 2 highway crews using an asphalt recycler called the Bagella to reduce their own pothole patching material. Work is weather-dependent in Phase 1. Phase 2, which is set to begin on March 20th, includes even more highway crews to work on more permanent pavement repairs, as the multiple blacktop plants that the city of Pittsfield buys from will now be open. A neighborhood off of Elm Street in Pittsfield will soon get 40 new native trees thanks to a state grant. The $65,800 grant as part of the Cooling Corridors Grant Program calls for the 40 new native shade trees to be planted on 7 different streets in a neighborhood off of Elm Street. The trees will be planted on frequently used walking routes to provide a safer and cooler area. The trees will also provide good ecological benefits too. The trees planted include maple, oaks, and hickories. More specifically, the streets getting the new trees include Marcella Avenue, Dexter Street, Lillian Street, Dillon Street, Wood Avenue, Cleveland Street, and Leslie Drive. Well, that is all I have for you. For more on these and other local stories, check out theberkshireeagle.com. Now, back to the studio.
Thanks, Max. That was really great news.
You got it. In other news, Quarter 3 grades will close on Friday, March 28th. Make sure to keep up with your assignments to finish off the quarter strong.
Our annual Mr. Taconic will be held on Friday, April 4th at 6 p.m. Scan the QR code on screen now for tickets. Tickets are $10 per person, and the theme is Welcome to Oz.
Along with that, the theme and date has been set for our next prom. The theme is Roaring 20s, and it will be held on Tuesday, June 3rd at the Stationery Factory in Dalton, Massachusetts. Next, we have a PSA with Kyra about the upcoming Taconic Theater Craft Fair this Saturday.
Today we are interviewing the theater department about this weekend. Let's go to that. We heard there was a fun event going on this weekend. Could you tell us more about it?
So the Taconic Theater Department is holding the craft fair 10 to 2 p.m. Saturday. There's going to be things like baked goods, jewelry, decor, over 45 vendors. There's going to be raffle tickets that you can buy for $1 each, and it's all to support Hadestown, the spring musical, which is going to be the second and third weekends of May.
Thank you.
Of course.
Thanks to the theater department for telling us about the craft fair this Saturday. Back to the studio.
Thanks, Kyra, for that PSA.
You got it.
Now, we have another episode of Forward to the Past featuring Mrs. Panetti.
Miss Panetti worked at BMC as a clinical therapist.
At Berkshire Medical Center, a clinical therapist works on the inpatient psychiatric units, on the Jones units, and works with patients to do therapy and help create care plans and do case management so that they're prepared to leave the hospital and safe when they can leave the hospital.
There are state requirements to work as a registered nurse.
To be a registered nurse, you need to have at least an associate's degree in nursing. You can get an associate's degree at Berkshire Community College now for free. I went to BCC for my nursing degree, but it wasn't free back then.
The emergency room has a lot of patients that have serious conditions.
The emergency room is very unpredictable, and very serious patients can come in 100 times a day or not at all. A couple of times we've had people that we've had to crack open their chest and manually pump their heart for them. We've had people that were sick with infections that needed lots of antibiotics. And we've had people that come in and we need to do CPR on them to save their lives.
Miss Panetti dropped from a full-time nurse to becoming a health tech teacher. She is still living her dream.
Working as a nurse in the emergency room is a very busy job. There's a lot of sickness, there's a lot of people that pass away, and it can be really sad and overwhelming. And at this point in my career, I thought I needed a change. I've always loved teaching new students and new nurses, so I thought that this was a perfect opportunity to incorporate that into a new job.
Thanks for that segment.
Next, we have another PSA with Kyra about fish in the Berkshire Humane Society.
In a biology class here at Taconic, some trout have been growing for the past month now. Miss Pearson, Miss Potash, and Miss Freeman are helping to hatch and grow these little fish, a program that has lasted about 10 years now. And when they are all grown up in May, the trout will be released into Parker Brook, which leads into Anoda Lake. Working with animals extends into the community in different ways. Many places are doing good things for the animals. For example, the Berkshire Humane Society offers volunteer work which consists of caring for the animals to fundraising and assisting with the Humane Education Program. Another thing they offer is low costs for spaying and neutering. If you are having trouble financially with your pet, don't you worry. The Berkshire Humane Society has a pet food bank. They also welcome donations. If you would like to know more about the Humane Society, I suggest you look them up or go to their building 214 Barker Road, Pittsfield, Massachusetts. Thank you. Now back to the studio.
Thanks, Kyra, for that information.
No problem.
Now, we have a segment with Aiden about obscure laws, followed by Avery with the weather.
Disclaimer. None of these laws are in effect or still used, especially not commonly. All of these laws are not enforced. So if you've broken any of these laws, you will probably face no repercussions for your actions.
Good morning, Taconic. So today we're looking at some obscure laws throughout the states of America, and today we're starting right here in Massachusetts. So I have a list here, and we're going to start with this one at the top. At a wake, mourners may eat no more than 3 sandwiches. What happens if you eat 4? I don't know. In Massachusetts, if you get caught eating peanuts in church, you can be jailed for up to 1 year. Imagine going to church, the bread and wine not being enough, so you have a snack and you suddenly are wheeled away for a year. That just doesn't seem right. It is illegal to frighten a pigeon. I'm honestly surprised that law is not in New York, because that's where most of the pigeons are. Why is it in Massachusetts? It should be in New York. No gorilla is allowed in the backseat of a car. Both back seats? What is it the left? Is it the right? What about the front seats? Can a gorilla get a driver's license? Are they allowed to drive? What if it's a minivan and it has 3 rows? What if they're in the middle row? What happens then? In Boston, it is illegal to take a bath unless instructed to do so by a physician. Okay, so this law exists, but it's also illegal to, apparently, I think on Sunday specifically, it is illegal to go to bed without taking a bath. So what happens when both of these laws are in place on a Sunday? Is it just you break the law or you break the law? What? Okay. You must have a license to wear a goatee. Mr. Chiquette, be warned. And Robert Downey Jr. if he ever comes here. And the last one I need to talk about, it is illegal to give false weather reports intentionally. And speaking of weather, I have my friend Avery here to do the weather.
Good morning, Taconic. Now on to our totally accurate weather. Now first up we have the forecast. So for this weekend we're looking at 58 today, and the weather starts to sort of rise, getting up to 60 on Saturday, going all the way up to 67 on Sunday. However, it does get worse on the overall sort of weather, where we sort of see more cloudiness and we get a storm. For a sneak peek at next week, we sort of have the temperatures rise again, back down to 52, getting up into the mid-60s on Wednesday. Now, for the moon phases, tonight we actually have a full moon. I think it looks really beautiful in the sky. Very excited for that. Now, on the 22nd, we actually have a third quarter. Now, despite it being halfly lit, it is called a third quarter because it is the third quarter of the actual moon cycle as a whole. The full moon would be the half cycle, would be half of the cycle. Now, we do have the start of a new cycle on the 29th, nearing the end of the month. Perfect timing. Now, the most interesting thing is last night we had a total lunar eclipse. A lunar eclipse is when the moon gets in, or the Earth gets in between the moon and the sun. This can occur and lead to a beautiful sight like this when we have a total lunar eclipse, otherwise known as a blood moon. And sadly, not many are going to see it though, because it happened at 3 in the morning in folklore known as the Devil's Hour. Now, I hope you all have a great weekend, and I hope you enjoyed this weather. And now, back to the studio.
Thanks for those segments.
Lastly, the Miss Willis word of the day today is revenue. Revenue means income, especially when of a company or organization in a substantial nature. Get noticed using this word in class or in the halls, and you'll get a green ticket and be entered in a drawing for a prize from Word of the Day.
Well, that is all we have for you today. As always, if you have any news you'd like us to report, please email us at taconictv@pittsfield.net.
For more from us here at Taconic TV, check out our weekly radio show, Up on Taconic, which airs every Monday at 6 p.m. on WTBR 89.7 FM, as well as on podcasting sites like Spotify and CastBox.
As always, make sure to take responsibility, have respect, and strive for excellence.
Have a great day, Taconic.